We teach in Richmond, California at Richmond College Preparatory Elementary School. We service kids from preschool to 6th grade. Our school is the highest performing elementary school in Richmond according to our API score. As a mandatory part of our curriculum, our students must complete 2 hours or more of online instruction using the 8 computers we all have inside of our classrooms. We were curious to see if our students had access to technology outside of the classroom and how they used it. It is all too common for kids to ask the closest adult to them to play games on their cell phones, but what other electronics are students using? Beyond that, how are they using the technology that they have access to? Is it more for social and gaming practices or as a tool for learning? We were also curious to explore what students do when they are not using technology. Has technology become such a crutch that interpersonal relationships are being replaced with smartphones, laptops, and gaming equipment? How has technology impacted the lives of our students? So, do you have a computer at home?
Yes.
Your mom will let you use the computer?
Yes. Yes. Our chores have to be complete, and we wouldn't keep the house clean, especially.
Okay, Miss McKelvey, as the family advocate at Richmond College Prep, what percentage of families do you think have access and use technology outside of school?
I would think that approximately 60% use technology outside of school, which would include.
When do you use a computer?
When I go to my auntie's house.
What is your name?
Pedro.
Pedro, do you have a computer at home or a Nintendo or something at home?
A Nintendo DSi.
You have a Nintendo DSi at home?
After interviewing our students, families, and faculty, we learned that a majority of our students did have access to technology outside of the classroom. More had access using gaming devices and smartphones, while several had computers, laptops, and/or tablets they could use. We were curious to see how the students were using their technology. What kinds of activities were students completing? Were they using it to aid their education and grow their intelligence? Or are they using it for more social purposes, such as games or social media websites? So, how do you use technology, both socially and professionally?
I use technology a lot at home. We have access to computers as well as our smartphones, and at work, of course, everything's technology based, pretty much.
So, do your children use the computers that you have at home as well?
Yes.
And do they have access to the smartphones?
They have access. Well, Madeline has a smartphone and her personal laptop. Brandon only has access to his desktop that's in his room, and sometimes he has access to my laptop, but pretty much he has his own computer in his room.
Okay, and what do you think the technology, the computers, the smartphones, what do you think they are most commonly used for?
The smartphones would be some social media as well as email, and most often not for educational purposes. I would think that the desktop computers or laptops would be used for some educational purposes, like they have access at school and also at home.
And do you think that the students use the computers more for iReady and other educational purposes or more for games?
I would think that most of them use them more for games.
Do you use your computer for?
For iReady and games.
What kind of games?
Like pool math and this website that I know.
What's the website called?
Nickelodeon.
And you use it to go on Nickelodeon?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of games do you play on the Nickelodeon?
I play like a game with fighting in it.
Okay, and what do you do when you use your Nintendo DSi?
find internet,
What else do you do?
play games,
And what sort of games do you play?
Mario and Cuckoo Panda.
And your children, do they use their access to technology for school-related reasons, or do they also use it for social networking or anything of that nature?
Madeline uses it for both homework and social network. Brandon only for homework or school research.
So what programs or what things does Brandon do on a computer exactly?
Well, not exactly do I know which programs, but I know my husband downloads some stuff for him,
Okay.
educational stuff for
Okay.
him that he's been working on over the. I think he started using those over the summer, and recently we got information from his teacher to use iReady.
Okay.
Yes.
So what would you do on the computer when your mom let you use the computer?
Play games.
What kind of games?
Nickelodeon, Power Rangers, Megaforce, or Samurai, or Monkey Quest.
I would play Cool Math.
Or cool
Or-
math games, or Game Post, or Y8, or Y3.
You talk too much.
Would you ever use it to help you learn?
Yes, iReady.
Is that the only program?
No, my skills.
No, my skills. Sometimes I use Fun Brain.
Or my knowledge. I love that.
Yeah, I use that too.
Do you use the computer more to play games or to learn?
To learn.
Equally.
Do you ever use your mom or your older siblings' cell phones?
Yes.
Yes, I used to take my brother's cell phone every night when he was asleep so I could play games.
And what do you do on the computer when you go to your auntie's house?
I go like to her books and see what kind of books she has, and I read them.
It is clear that the community of Richmond is using their access to technology abundantly, but we were curious to see if it was impeding on their development of interpersonal relationships. Are children and adults so consumed with technology that they are sacrificing their family time? Are parents regulating the technology usage? Ultimately, what would our students be doing without access to technology?
Okay, and what do you think these students would be doing if they were not spending time at technology at home?
More than likely, they would be outside with friends, perhaps going to the park or something like that, hanging out with their friends. I don't think that it would be anything educational if they were not on technology.
So what would you be doing, or what do you do without the cell phone and the computers?
Read.
Or do my homework. That's another chore we have to do. That's another chore. It's homework.
What would you be doing if you weren't playing games on your mom's phone?
I would be like reading or doing my homework. Yes.
What do you do when you're spending time with your family and you're not on your DSI?
I hug my mom. I play tag with my sister, and I'll do homework with my dad.
How do you feel like your life would be different if you did not have technology?
It will be a little bit difficult just because we are so dependent on looking everything under Google. We do have books at home, but we don't own an encyclopedia where we could browse through stuff. So access to technology is very easy for us because, of course, we have the computers at home.
Mhm.
But how would our lives be different? I think very difficult.
Do you think, in reference to your kids, that technology enhances their education, or do you feel like it can sometimes be a distraction for them?
I feel like it could sometimes be a distraction because when they're on it for so long, sometimes it's hard to get them off there. they eventually become, I don't want to say addicted, but they rely too much on these things. And for me personally, even though I don't have the time to take them to the library,
Mm-hmm.
I rather them opening up a book, opening up a book and doing a little bit of research.
How do you feel like your life would be different if you did not have technology?
It will be a little bit difficult, just because we are so dependent on looking everything under Google. Um, we do have books at home, but we don't own an encyclopedia where we could browse through stuff. So access to technology is very easy for us because, of course, we have the computers at home.
Mhm.
But how would our lives be different? I think very difficult.
Through these interviews, we discovered that our students had access to at least one piece of technology, but were using those resources for various purposes. More often than not, outside of the classroom, technology was being used to play games and visit various non-academic sites. There was a disconnect from the activity that took place between the family and amongst individuals because technology was being used so heavily outside of the classroom and within the home. If the students didn't have access to this technology, then it's clear that more time would be spent doing other activities such as reading or quality time with the family. This is Richmond's reality.